Hi, I'm Backyard Barb, and welcome to my yard. I've been getting a lot of questions lately about tomato disorders and what causes them and how can we prevent them in the future. So the first one I'm going to talk about is cat facing. And cat facing, I think the reason why it has that name is because sometimes they can look like a cat's face, all kind of squished up. Now here's a good example of cat facing. Facing appears at the bottom of the tomato, at the base, at the blossom end. As you can see, it has holes in the tomato and also lines where it's kind of formed, and the tomato is very deformed. Now, some of the known causes of cat facing is excessive pruning, excessive nitrogen. If you're over fertilizing, it can cause this. If you have low temperatures that are highs during the day and lows during the night, where it's plummeting, that can affect it as well. And just some cultivars are more prone to cat facing than others, especially heirlooms. And that's what I like to grow, is heirloom tomatoes, because I want to keep them in existence. This is another example of cat facing, and you can see how the tomato is just deformed. It looks like it's got maybe a tongue sticking out. They're just really awkward shaped. Now you can still use the tomato. You're just going to have a lot of waste because you're going to have to cut off all of the spots where the cat facing is affected. Zippering is another thing that affects tomatoes. And again, it's more cosmetic than anything else. But what happens with the tomato is where the blossom is attached, the antler has gotten stuck. And so as the tomato grows, it creates this long pattern. Typically it has a hole at the top and then it'll do a long line. They can go laterally or vertically. They can grow in all different places depending upon how the tomato has developed. This tomato is still absolutely edible. You're just going to lose part of it with cutting off the zippering. Now, bottom rot is another tomato disorder that is affected. You can see here how the bottom of the tomato has gotten rotten. You can still use this tomato, you can still cut this off. It just creates a lot of waste. This typically is caused from late evening watering or inconsistent watering. Like if we get a big rainstorm and we get a lot of rain, we'll get some bottom rot because the tomato sucks the water up and then it just sits there in the bottom of the fruit and then it rots. Bottom rot is also caused from a lack of calcium, or can be, either inconsistent water or lack of calcium. I tend to take my eggshells and I bake them and I grind them up and powder them, and at the end of the season I sprinkle powdered calcium shells all through the garden to help with the calcium deficiency in the soil each year from where the plants have withdrawn everything. Now this is a great example of splitting and cracking of the tomato, and this typically occurs when the inside of the tomato is growing faster than the exterior where the skin is. And this can be caused from water, overwatering, inconsistent watering, heat. This tomato is still edible. You just want to cut out where the cracking and splitting has occurred to avoid any bacteria or anything getting into your fruit, but it's still absolutely edible. Now there's several ways and things that you can do to help prevent splitting and cracking of your tomatoes. You can water less frequently but heavier. Water once a week and give up 1 to 2 inches of water. Regularly watered on a set schedule, helps the plants to adapt to your schedule. You can cover your plants when there's a heavy rain to avoid oversaturating, or if you know you're going to have a heavy rain, if you've got some tomatoes that are almost ripe, you can go pick them and bring them in, or even if they've just started to blush, you can absolutely pick a tomato as it's starting to blush, put it in your windowsill and let it complete the ripening process. Mulching helps. If you put 2 to 3 inches of mulch down, that also helps to prevent cracking because it helps the plants to hold moisture so they're not getting completely dried out and then here's a heavy dose of rain, so they're sucking it all up into their plants. And there's also different varieties that are just more prone to cracking. And you can lessen your chances by looking for crack-free varieties that aren't as prone to. It's the same with some of the other tomato plant afflictions. And once again, these are not things that are a huge problem, but they do happen. And they happen to all of us, the best of us gardeners. So you just want to be vigilant with your watering schedule, fertilize regularly, and you will have a happy growing season. If you liked this video, you can give me a thumbs up. You can also give me some comments. If there's something that you're wondering about and you want to know about, I will make a video. So I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.